let me turn this.
Do I have to move my plant over more or anything in the back, or is it all
Oh,
right?
you're looking just fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Everybody's judging now about, what you look like in the back. And am I too loud? I tend to yell in this. I don't know why. I think I'm in Texas and you're in, Arizona or something.
Everything sounds great.
Well, everything
Okay.
sounds
All right.
great.
Move
But
it back a
before
little
we get
bit.
started, so you know what? They're
Hmm.
going to hear all this conversation even before I introduce you.
Go ahead. I'm
So I'm introducing Barbara Rosebrooker and The Rant. We are back again this week. And Barbara, you have a special guest who probably has done more shows like this than you and me combined.
Oh my God, let me introduce Susan Sikora, the Susan Sikora, the celebrated Susan Sikora. Seriously, as an author, I was lucky enough to be interviewed by her on KRON TV several times. I have the reels. Now, let me just tell you a couple little things about Susan. There's so much to say, but just a few little things. She's a TV host, Emmy winner, and 8-time nominee. At KBCW TV in San Francisco, she hosted the public affairs interview show Bay Area Focus. Good Morning Bay Area at KGO, ABC, and Bay TV Life at KRON's Bay TV. And it goes on and on and on and on. And we're not going to spend time with that. I just want to say, oh my God, I have all the reels from the times I was on her show.
Please tell me you're not. Please tell me you're not.
I could almost cry. So we are very lucky to have Susan Sikora today. And what I want to know, Susan, as an age activist, I really hate the word retirement because it always feels like you're supposed to be put out to pasture. I feel retirement. And I feel that life has a longevity, and no matter what age, and different parts of our life, different transitions. So what I want to know, as a famous TV host, when did you retire? Why did you retire? And what is retirement for you now?
Okay. First of all, I don't consider myself retired.
Good.
I was actually let go, frankly. It was a budget measure. We'll leave it at that. I will just suffice it to say the story didn't come out, and there's no point. It's water under the dam. But they could have been more gracious about it, and they were not. It's all right. I was done. I did what I could. It's fine. I have found ways to reinvent myself, mostly because financially I need to. Didn't make a lot of money on that job, and I think that. What would I do? Sit around? I sit around enough now with this pandemic, okay? And I think since I found Zoom, a couple of my girlfriends from college, we've gotten together, and when I said, why don't we do a little, kind of college girl Zoom here? And we tried it. It was my idea. I said I was going to set up the first time, and we went the first. Do you know how long we went the first night? You either one of you want to take a guess? Go ahead,
15
Karen.
minutes?
Try.
4 or 5,
How long?
15 minutes?
Karen?
4 or 5 hours.
Bingo. She's good.
Oh my God.
4 hours. It was 4 hours. And I hate to tell you how long we spent the next two. 4 hours also. Okay. So, you think you don't have anything to say, but it's a great way to reconnect, especially you can't get out there and hug and do and chat and go to lunch and all this stuff. So, yeah. So, and in terms of being retired, I don't consider myself retired. I don't know what that is anymore. I think that was for like my grandmother or something.
Exactly.
That was like, I don't have a porch. If I had a porch, would I sit on it and sip lemonade in the summer and hot tea in the winter? No. I mean, that's fine for a while. That's good for an hour. But what
We
are you
have
gonna
to
do?
change the word. We have to legislate to change that word.
Yes.
We've got to change cougar. We've got to change a lot of labels.
Well,
Because, but you're living your life in a new way.
yes. Oh, absolutely. I have to tell you, the first major thing I did was I had to downsize after my husband passed in
Right.
2015, and it became clear to me that financially I was not going to be able to stay where I was. I mean, it was just do the math. Sometimes I want to tell Congress when they're arguing about these budget things, I want to go, excuse me, what did you get in arithmetic?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember arithmetic? Remember when it was called arithmetic? Then it got
Arithmetic.
math, and now everybody's still failing it worse, I guess. I don't know. But I thought you got to figure this out. And then I found a cute place that was near my mother, who was alive at the time, and I knew I needed to be near her. So the closer I was, the better. It was 2 minutes from my driveway to hers in this new place. The only hitch was when I found this little apartment. It was small. It was 635 square feet, and I was in 1,600 square feet.
Wow.
You know,
So it was a big adjustment, and I thought to myself, look, this is right for every which way. It's cute.
it
It's
looks adorable.
safe. Well, this is a different place. That's another
Oh,
story. But the first place that I was in, this is the second place I've moved to. But
right, right.
bottom line was that when I moved there, I thought the only hitch was the price was right, the place was right, price for California. But I thought the only thing was there were steps going up, and I thought, get over that. You can do steps. And the second thing was it was small. And I thought, well, you can either keep looking and pay more, or you can move into here and get rid of the stuff. And that's what I did. And you know what? It was freeing. It was freeing. And you can't tell this to anybody who's not ready to do it. People are going, oh, I have to have this cup because, somebody gave it to me when I graduated. You know what? Get over it. It's a cup.
Or they try to reenact the past.
Yes, exactly.
And,
But
and
it's not
yeah.
even that. And people spend money on storage because they think they need their stuff and then they never get back to it. That's why they give you the first month free. They know you're going to forget, procrastinate, or say, the heck with it. I don't feel like doing it. So as far as retiring goes, no, I'm not. I'm teaching now, and I'm teaching on Zoom. And
What are you teaching, Susan?
I'm glad you asked this. I'm teaching a class. I was teaching this in person once a week, and it was for seniors. It was a place where my mother had actually lived when we brought her out here from New Jersey, a senior living, assisted living, and the class is called Reader's Theater.
Oh,
When I was in college, I majored in drama and minored in English, and I taught all those things for a while on the high school level, then got into TV. But I love reading aloud, and I love when people read aloud well. And
oh,
unfortunately, you don't hear it that often.
no, no.
So I thought, and I always tell them, I'm not trying to make you Meryl Streep or Denzel Washington or James Earl Jones. I just want you to, think about it a little bit. If you do it better, fine. And everybody can improve. So that's what I'm doing. And it's a class that I've gotten a few more takers because I think some of these older homes where people are, where these older folks are going to be on Zoom classes for a while.
Oh, don't you think, Susan and Karen, that this is here to stay? We can't go back. I'm addicted to Zoom. I can talk to someone in London, see a friend in London if I want.
You know people in London that you can talk to on Zoom?
I mean, like business wise or something.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you can go everywhere.
Yeah.
We can't go back. What are we going to go back to?
Zoom and FaceTime, yes, they will stick around in all the other formats, but we really need to get back, even in small groups.
Yeah.
We need that connection. And that's one of the things that I'm finding a lot of seniors who are in assisted living or independent living, they're finding very unsettling for themselves. My brother lives in Southern California in Leisure World, and there's 22,000 people who live in Leisure World. And yet he said it's like a ghost town. You don't see anybody walking to their cars. All the clubhouses are closed. And in the beginning, he did fine. In the last couple months, it's like he doesn't even want to go on Zoom anymore.
Well, we're going to have both. I think we're going to have many more options. It's not going to be the same. The industry has changed.
Right.
Yeah. And also I would say this, I have a couple of people who they were asking for the course to come back, which was nice. That was the good news. The bad news is a lot of them either are not there, not because they died or anything. A lot of them moved out, or a lot of them are not doing it, or they're used to not doing activities. So I had one person who is not coming back because that particular person is not a fan of Zoom, and that particular person was a faithful participant in the class. So I get it. It's not the same. They have to, they're not on individual laptop. So that's a challenge.
I was going to say, Susan, do you find that a lot of the senior, which means over 60 or over 50, I don't know how they gauge it, have don't have a relationship with technology. So they're finding it difficult.
I think I don't think it's by age so much.
Mhm.
It may be for the people who are in their like maybe 80s, late 80s and 90s, some. Although I have a friend of mine who's a very young 83 and she's on her computer all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and there's people who are my age who they can't put the phones down. I do not have, get ready, ladies. I do not have a smartphone.
That's
And,
okay.
and my friend Vivian said to me, Susan, now that you have a laptop, because mine died, my desktop died. It was an
No.
antique at that point. I still love it, but it's gone. She said, now you should get a big girl phone.
Do you have a flip flop?
I do.
I
It's
miss my
right
flip
over
flop
there.
so much.
You know what it is, and I'm going to tell you why I don't have one.
Private. It's
It keeps,
private.
well, it keeps you in touch, but
Yeah.
here's what I don't trust about me with a flip phone. First of all, I mean, with a smartphone. First of all, they're expensive. These are
Very.
expensive items, okay? We grew up where, the telephone company came, they hooked it up, and then charged you every call. Now they charge you, you have to stand online for the latest smartphone,
Right.
and it's close to $1,000 or more. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just a lot of money. That's one thing. Okay, let's suppose I win the lottery and I buy one anyway. All
Or
right.
you buy a used one.
Well, yeah, well, if I'm gonna buy one, might as well get the newest one. Okay. I mean, let's go big or don't bother, right? That's what I think. But I don't want to get to the point where I'm so bonded with this thing that you're talking to me and I'm going, huh? What'd you say? I don't like the disengagement with people when you're talking, even on Zoom.
Right.
No.
Even on Zoom. And
Yeah.
so I think that I think it can be addictive. The texting, oh my God, to me, this is
Oh, the
glorified typing.
text.
Remember typing class?
Oh, I loved my typewriter so much. I miss it so
But who
much.
wants to do it all day long on a little one?
No, I know. Do you hear both of you in the middle of the night? You hear ding, 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 ding,
I don't.
Well,
texting.
See, I
On a
keep my
smartphone,
phone
you
off
don't.
at night.
That's it.
800 numbers are texting now. It's worse than ever.
Yeah.
It's no longer emailing. A
It's-
lot of people say, don't email me. I don't read emails, just text. And
I
this
know.
includes publishers and agents. They will not email.
You know what I tell people, and I'm not out there getting agents and publishers and all of that. And if I were, I suppose I'd have to adjust to that. And I would do what I had to do. But even when I do my class, and I've gotten a few new takers on it because of the Zoom needs, I tell them, don't text me. I have a flip phone. Don't laugh. Wait for it. Wait for it. And then I just say, email me and I'll get back to you. And I do, and I get it right away. I keep an eye on that. But all this ding, 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 and I'm out watering the roses, and who cares?
Susan, I think that's wonderful work. I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Would you ever go back to hosting a TV show?
I don't know.
If
It would have
it
to be
came
the
up?
right situation. It would have to be the right situation. Maybe. I don't know that I'd go back and do a public affairs show, and I certainly don't want to do politics.
A different kind of show, like just off the top of my head, Susan Says, or a different kind of a show to develop a podcast into a show, because you are so good at it.
Well,
So good at it.
thank you. You're very flattering. My friends would say she talks too much. And you know what I tell them? I do. And in fact, I told my friend Vivian once, I said, they pay me to talk. And she says, yes, but we don't.
Oh, that's funny.
I think that's hilarious. I love that joke. She said that a couple
I
years
never thought you talked too much.
Oh, I do. I know I do.
I was on a lot of so-called shows that are these national shows, and they didn't talk hardly at all, and they were kind of like disengaged. You were very engaging, and you interviewed everyone from famous. Who was the most famous person you interviewed?
Oh, golly.
Did you interview Biden? Didn't you interview?
No, I didn't interview
Somebody,
Biden. I
I
interviewed Kamala Harris. I
Yeah.
interviewed years ago when she was
Yes.
in the city.
That's right.
I interviewed Madeleine Albright. who was delightful. I did her a couple of times.
Right.
Caroline Kennedy. The
Yeah.
one that sticks in my mind more than anything, and she was famous for a good reason and then a sad reason, was when I was in Boston and I did a talk show there. Krista McAuliffe was about to go into space as the teacher not that
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, that wasn't that
She
sad.
came
Oh,
on the show. I still have the
oh,
tape somewhere. She
you
came
have
on
the
the
tape.
show with her husband and her little boy, who's now obviously probably this.
Oh,
And she was lovely. You know what it was about her? She was very effusive. She was passionate about teaching. And she was so excited to do this. And I would say to her things like, "Are you really good in science? Because, you think, well, you must be really good in science to go up and, be an astronaut for
space,
a
yes.
trip." And she said, "No, not really." I mean, she was so down to earth. She looked like I'm telling you, she went to a Catholic high school, as did I, in New Jersey. She went in, I think it was New Hampshire, no, Rhode Island. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I can't remember where she's from. Anyway, the bottom line was her class picture in her yearbook. They put them in the same V-neck white
Right.
blouses,
Yeah.
and you must have gone, Karen.
No, I didn't, but a lot of my friends, and I keep seeing their
And the
pictures.
cross, the
Yeah.
cross was the only jewelry. You couldn't have your ears pierced. You could. I don't think you could wear lipstick for your picture. Can you imagine? Oh, dear God. Anyway, but she looked like she could have lived next door. She could have been like anyone. She was so down to earth.
And
I
look
loved
what
her.
she
She was amazing.
did. The courage of going into space, the
Yeah.
unknown in a rocket.
Yeah. Well, would you go to space, Barbara?
No,
Would you go to space, Karen?
No, I'm
Well,
afraid of
three
heights.
for three here. I'm not.
no.
I get nervous on a plane, and the more
I
I fly,
won't even fly, right? I won't even fly. And yet all these women are signing up for Mars. They say, I hear it, Mars and the moon. No way. I won't even be
have to
there.
do here.
Oh, no, no. But
No.
Susan, it sounds like you're having a contented transition in so many ways.
Not, I keep thinking to myself, if you don't like something about your life, Susan, um, how are you going to change it? Because what I have learned, losing my husband and losing my mother, and then, being here, and then the pandemic and all, and people have moved. I've had a good friend went to Canada. I've got another good friend, but she's, a couple towns down. I've got another really super good friend, and she's in the city. I've got another one. I mean, they're all over the place. And so I'm just saying, you can't get together anyway. And what's wrong with your life that you want to change? Because would you be going out to lunch every day? No, after a while, how many orders of dim sum can I get? And the point is, I can't afford to do that either. And I don't need to do that. It's right in the middle of the day and you don't do any, you get ready to go, you eat, you spend, you come home.
Time, you spend so much time doing those things. So the pandemic, combined with whatever that word is, has really changed people's routines. It really has. I think it's brought people closer to themselves. Inner reflection.
Yeah.
I find the inner reflection, looking at your life closer, and then redesigning a lot of making new choices. I think the pandemic has exacerbated that. And when we all get together, like today, I heard they're reopening. You can go inside, which I think is way too soon. But
I do too.
Who's going to listen to me?
A big mistake on this because
Big
they're
mistake.
really reopening and they're acting like it's over because a couple of people have gotten vaccinated. You have to get to a point where it's like 8% in the country right now as we record this. And the truth is, that's not enough, number one. And number two, they tell you to still be vigilant. Well, in some states, they're going, lose the mask, go where you want, go inside.
Texas.
Here we go again.
That governor, he's crazy. But what's even more sad are the people who are following this. Because I guarantee you, and all the scientists say this, but people aren't listening. There's going to be a big surge. And we'll have to all be shut down again.
That's right. That's the thing. If you really don't like, wearing a mask, I saw an ad once and they pulled it quickly. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but it was, there was a nurse and she was talking about wearing a mask and the spot was very quick, but right to the point. And she said, if you don't like wearing a mask, you're really going to hate the respirator.
Yes.
I thought, whoa. That was
I think what the problem is that and I'm seeing it here in Cleveland, we've been reopened for a while.
yeah.
Restaurants that are not considered bars, they are handling it very, very well.
Hmm.
They're minimal seating. You can tell what is clean, what isn't clean. They have barriers between tables, but it's the bars where the young people are gathering. And if they're standing around drinking, they're not going to have a mask on.
That's right.
But when you go into a restaurant, I know when my husband and I go to a restaurant, we wear our mask at the table until the food comes. Once the food comes, we eat our food. As soon as we're done, the mask goes back on. And
Mhm.
almost everybody else in the restaurant is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And my son was getting together with a friend of his, and they went to a local bar. He walked out. He walked in and walked out. He said
Really? Why?
everybody had taken their mask off inside, and everybody is, high-fiving each other. And
Oh,
he is very concerned.
Yeah.
Because look at, he's,
well, it's very sad. Actually,
With
it's
our son.
sad.
yeah,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what? I'm going to tell you something. I know people are, I love when people go, oh, we have to get back. I can't stand this anymore. I've had it enough. You know what? And they say the
You want
virus.
to die? Go die then.
yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, it can, hopefully with the vaccine, you'll see less of this. And it does minimize hospitalizations and deaths, but you've got to wait. You've got to be patient. We're not good at patience in this country.
No, no, no. I mean, Gavin Newsom has opened and closed, what, twice already? In such a hurry to open everything. And
Yeah.
with the warm weather and the drought, the
Yeah.
streets are crowded. No one, a lot of people don't have
I,
masks.
I think psychologically, and I don't know if you ladies agree on this one, but I think psychologically, when you have nice weather, we do in Northern California,
Yes, yes,
it gets chilly here. It's still cool. You can put the heat on maybe for an hour or two to break
yes.
the chill, and then it's fine. You don't need the heat blasting all day long. But in Southern California, where you're right near a beach and you're right near a crowd and it's 80 degrees and you can go
Right.
swimming in a pool or an ocean, it's sort of psychologically, well, it's fine. We're outside, the fresh air and all of that. Same within Florida. And I think when you have these warm climates, it gives you a false sense of, oh, everything's fine now. And it's,
I'm not going to get it, they think. It's too beautiful out,
yeah,
But
which one has nothing to do with the other.
exactly. But they're not listening to the scientists. That's the whole thing.
No.
So that's what I mean when I say the pandemic. I don't think life during the pandemic is going to change when the pandemic is over. Yes, we'll go out more, of course, and there's going to be, but of course we can go to the symphony and the museum and meet friends if we want. But I do think that there is going to be more of an insulation.
Mhm.
Life will be more insulated. And we're getting very accustomed to Zoom. Look at the industry, Susan and Karen, talking to producers in LA and everything. They're not going back to the
Yeah.
studio. They're developing so much
Yeah.
on the internet and on Zoom.
Well, you
So
look at how many people are working from home.
they're
And
working from home.
guess what? Not only are they working from home and they can keep their salary, maybe they make a little less, maybe they make a little more, but those people are probably doing all right.
They're doing very
Like,
well.
make a lot of money doing what I do, but it's just me, okay? But if you work for, let's say, a high-tech company like Google or something, and they say, you know what, you can stay home if you want, or a company that is large and significant like that, what are they paying in rent every month in San Francisco?
Well, rents have come down, which is
Yes.
very
Well,
interesting.
yes.
They're offering 2 months free to get people into these gorgeous buildings in Pacific Heights with doormen. Of course, at the end of 2 months, they'll boom.
Right.
But yeah, but they are coming down. I don't know. None of us really knows what's going to happen. But Susan, I want to know a little bit about your podcast title. I love that title.
Okay. Well, it's not, I didn't invent it.
Older is wiser.
It's called oldandwiser.com. That is actually the website and the show that I do with Bob Bates,
Right.
who is a very multi-talented guy. He and his wife, the two of them, what one can't do, the other can, and they can both do most of everything you can think of in television. And they're nice. I mean, how often do you get that? Where you
When
get
you
some
say
really
older,
nice,
though,
really talented.
when you say older, though, what I want to know is it age-based? The
It's boomer
premise
based.
of it?
It's boomer based.
It's boomer-based.
That's a bit of a wide range. Bob
Oh,
is in his 60s. I'm 72. I know, Barbara, you were waiting to see if you could ask about
84,
the.
72, and
I
you're
don't care.
70.
So what? I'm a
Who
72.
cares?
You know, when I'm
71 and
172, we'll worry. But
Exactly.
he started this website that has a lot of different elements on it. He and I worked together in San Francisco. He worked for Oprah for a while, produced her Remembering Your Spirit stuff, uh, the
Yes.
show she did for a while. That we went.
Yes.
Yeah, he knows how to do everything in front of the camera and behind the camera. Okay, the man's got it all,
So
and
you
he's
two
got
are a good combo.
we're buddies. And he said, "Do you want to try this?" And I said, "Sure." So we've been doing it now for a couple of years. And I want to say like maybe 4 years. Feels like that. And we get to go once a month. We took a hiatus for a while after the George Floyd tragedy. We took a hiatus. We just felt like we were two white people. What are we going to add to this? Everybody else had more to say. And, I remember at one point we talked about it. He said, "Well, what do you think white people should do?" And I said, "We got to listen. We have to listen."
That's the whole thing. The white privilege do not listen. Right.
Well, and you've got to confront the fact that our history is not perfect,
No,
pristine,
far
kind.
from it.
There's a lot of brutal moments, frankly.
I
And
believe in reparation, but anyway.
yeah,
So do you talk mostly about age? Because, with the age march, I'm just curious.
well, I'll tell you what we do. A lot of the stuff, he finds it. So he does the producing, he does the legwork.
Oh,
It's his podcast. I'm kind of along for the ride in a co host kind of way, but he's the one that drives. And he usually finds surveys. We decided early on we didn't want to talk about politics because when we started this, the election, even I think it was the last election, even in 2016,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
even before that. And I thought, you can find this 24/7 and beyond on TV, on the radio, online, everywhere. The last thing we need is another show of people giving their political opinions. So I thought, that's it. There's people who have more to say about this, can do it better, and are more passionate about it. I'm passionate about it, but I know there's going to come a moment in the conversation when I'm going, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." And
Yeah.
I think you should know for politics because that's important. So the bottom line is we don't do that. We do surveys. Things like, let me think of one we did was something like, I know what it was. He said there was one that he said, if you did I think it's on the last one, if money were no object and you could add a room to your living space, what room would it be?
Hmm.
Karen?
Wow. I think I would put in a 4-season porch.
A four season? Now
Oh,
you're in
that
Ohio, so
is nice. I was going to say a separate office.
that's that was mine.
That was yours with a beautiful window. That's really
Yeah,
what.
but here's the thing, and this is where I think
Oh,
this is where women our age have to start talking, okay? And by the way, I'm going to tell you about a book that I read that was fabulous.
okay.
Um, the living space. First of all,
Yeah.
rents have to be cheaper
Uh,
and frozen after a certain age. If you're making $1 million a year and you're in your 60s or your 70s or your 80s and you're pulling in, oil stock or whatever, and you're making tons of money, yes, somebody can charge you rent. Probably you're going to buy, you probably own the building at that
So
point.
you're talking rent control.
I'm talking rent control needs to be at least across the board, and it needs to really at least address women first because
I
women are the ones who get into this faster. I'm not saying
I
men.
agree. I
I'm not saying
agree.
men don't, but women do. We survive the men, or we've put our careers on hold, either to have kids, raise a family, or even stop down, not push the way you should maybe in your career because someone in the family, a mother, a father, an elder person, an in-law even, or an aunt or uncle who needs your help.
Yeah.
So all that stuff, all that steam is gone. And to say, well, you should have saved more. Well, there wasn't a lot to save. I wasn't making.
Very
I didn't have
important.
parity.
That's a really important issue because they're ready to farm off the so-called retired women who are over 60 to, quote, I hate this term, assisted living. Why can't we live in our own spaces, lower rents, or leases, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So we can work at home and do things. Absolutely.
You know, we're the ones that they depend on to do the volunteering. When there's some kind of a cake sale or the food drives or people working in food banks now, again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying men don't show up. They do. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of women who will show up always and forever first,
Yeah.
okay? Going back to the office situation, if we design something where people will say, well, I need 2 bedrooms because I have to have an office. You don't need the space of a bedroom to have an office. The office can be a small space where you can fit files if you're going to do it underneath, and a printer if you have to have it, and a place for your laptop and to charge it and your phone. And I think,
That's it. And a
it's
plant,
a closet,
you know,
frankly.
that's
So,
it.
I mean, and the other thing is, oh, this is a big one for me. Are you ready? You're going to hate this. Rub-a-dub-dub, get rid of the tub. Now,
Oh,
I don't
I
know,
love my tub.
Yeah.
you're a soaker.
I'm a soaker with the bubble bath and the lavender salts. It's my one thing during the day I look forward to in this old apartment.
you
Why now?
find
Why
yourself
get rid of the tub? Because of the falls, you think? Or
For one thing, as soon as if your hip gets arthritic,
yeah,
and I've had a minimum of this right now, but if it gets worse, and I knew I had this with my mother even, she was getting worse and worse, and I thought, when she can't get in that tub in her home in New Jersey, what are we going to do? And
well,
she,
you can get those tubs, Susan, where they open them and they have like a little.
oh no, no. First of
No?
all, no. Karen, tell her why.
Well, first of all, we took out our tub and we
You
put in a
did?
walk-in shower,
Perfect.
and it's the best thing. We
Really?
have a shower chair in there, so if you don't feel good, you can sit down. But right now, none
Oh,
of us need it. And I'll tell you, I will stand there and soak more than I would in a bathtub.
you could sit down. I guess you could even put a bench or a chair.
But I'll just stand there and enjoy it.
They can even build that in.
Yeah.
That's
They
what
can
I'm
build
saying.
that
If
in.
they built new places that were energy efficient,
Okay, that's the
and you
point.
need a washer and dryer in your space, not down the
Yeah,
hall or
I have to go
downstairs.
down the basement. I'm going to kill myself
Oh,
one day.
that's it. You need a washer and dryer, or you have to do wash, dry, and fold. And somebody can come and get it, but then again, money going out. Here we go. So what I'm saying is, you have it there, and you tell them, look, you do a full load, or you make it small. I mean, you build in these things so that people conserve a little bit. I think women our age tend to do that. I'm generalizing, I know, but it's like Karen, for putting your walk-in shower in your home. I bet you extended by a couple of years, if not more, how
You're
long
not gonna
you can
fall.
stay in that home.
Right.
And break a hip, because
That's-
once that happens, goodbye.
Well,
Yeah.
not only break the hip, but it's hard to get in and out if you've got to lift one leg and support yourself on the other.
I admit it's very hard for me getting in the tub and getting out, and I'm very cautious.
Lose those baths, Barbara.
What?
Lose those baths.
Lose?
Karen agrees. I see you, Karen, laughing.
Oh my God, everything has to change. Well, what you're talking about too, I think, I interpret, is because whether you're 80 or 84 like myself, or 72 or 96, why can't we value age in terms of our building, our codes, our adjustments, instead of shipping off people to assisted living or get.
Can I say one thing about that? You mentioned that before. I wanted to pick up on.
Yes. Yeah.
Assisted living homes are a lot of what I work with now. Okay.
What do you think of them?
Well, they're lovely. But I
Mhm.
have to tell you something. Unless you have, I don't know what you're paying in rent now. It's bad enough now in San
I
Francisco.
have an old rent control, so I'm one of the lucky ones.
Okay, it's still a chunk every month. That's your
Oh,
big
yeah.
probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Mine is probably bigger than yours. All right.
Yes.
But do you have 5 or 6,000 instead a month?
Nope.
No. And no boomer does. This is why this woman, I'm telling you, I found this book. She was on NPR. She was interviewed, and I'm going to plug it. I'm not getting $1 for. She doesn't know who I am, Adam.
This is
But-
great that you're doing
Elizabeth
that.
White. And the book is called, I haven't taken it back to the library yet. They've got my name. I'm sure my picture's on a poster somewhere. 55 Underemployed and Faking Normal, Your Guide to a Better Retirement Life. And I got this, let me show it better so you can see it.
Let me see the
got this-
title. I love the underemployed and faking normal.
You know, I had it,
Underemployed.
I got it from the library.
That
So I
is
didn't do anything
great.
for her book sales, but I got it from the library. I requested it. I got it. It sat there and I thought, oh, underemployed. This is going to depress me because it's just going to tell me I can't find anything. And I already know that. And I'm not going to get back in the workforce full time. And I don't need to be reminded of this because I've already dealt with that. Okay. All that. So I took the book with me to wait online in my car for my first vaccine. And I read a chapter in here. I thought, let me read one chapter. If I love it, I may read the rest of it. If not, it's going back on Saturday in the book drop. And the
God.
chapter was called Old School Wisdom from an Elderly Black Woman. It was a woman she called Auntie. I would
Yes.
say Auntie because I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. And she talked about how frugal this woman was, about how she bought a modest home when you could, about how she didn't go for lattes and she didn't go for manicures and she didn't buy
Saved her money. Saved
it
her
was
money.
along the way. She had what she needed. She spent it when she needed it. She went to church. She had community. She said people were trying to buy her house all the time, the banks or whatever, so they could, up the ante.
Right.
And no. And she did without things that she didn't need. And she knew the difference between what she needed and what she didn't need. And I'm telling you, that chapter alone is worth the read. When I finished
I
that,
love that.
I
Don't
finished
you
the
think?
chapter.
Oh, I love that. Don't you think during the pandemic too, regarding money, I don't spend any money during the pandemic. I've been saving more.
Yeah.
I think that being inside too has authorized many women over 60.
Here's the other thing with that too. So I'll get on a little soapbox here. In
Yeah.
fact, we talked about this on our last podcast, olderandwiser.com with Bob. And I said, I know they're saying we're going to give you $1,400 or whatever it is if you make less than, what is it, 77 or 75 is the magic
Yeah.
number now.
Yeah.
Okay. Could we all use that money? You betcha.
You
Okay.
bet.
If you're making $300,000 a year, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you need it because you're over leveraged in a house that you can't afford, and maybe you need to look at that. But you've got money for groceries. You've got money to keep the electricity and the heat on. You've got money for your kids to be fed and clothed and whatever you need to do. Okay. But here's the thing: they keep saying, "Well, they're not putting it back in the economy." Okay. In other words, we're not going out and spending it. Well, a lot of people are. They're spending it. They're paying down their bills. They're putting it away, maybe even a simple savings account where you're not making a lot of money because of the interest rates, but still, at least it's there. You're using it for, maybe you're helping somebody else in the family. I know several friends who are doing better than I, who took their money and gave it to food banks or charities that they know are good ones. Okay. Here's my point. Which is it? You get the money and I want you to put it back in the economy. But then if you're stuck, then it's like, well, you didn't save your money. Come on. One or the other.
That is
I
a
have
really
to tell you something. The younger people who got that first $500 stimulus check
600.
or
Yeah.
600, whatever that last one was, on the weekends, I work an IT job in a big box store. The week those checks went out, everybody and their brother came in with that $600 and they were spending it. Even, they were buying computers they couldn't afford. They were, taking out credit cards so that they could spend more than 600. And I had a real hard time with that. Now,
Yes.
look, I don't sell. I show you when you ask me a question about what you're looking for, I can put that package together and explain it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I also will look at you and say, do you really need this now?
Yeah.
Because I know I can't afford to do it.
Mm-mm.
And
Were they younger, Karen? Were they
were
younger?
probably 30s and 40s.
Right.
But you could just see them
Right.
rushing in and the dollar signs in their eyes.
Yeah.
And I've heard it since. Oh, I need that $1,400 so I can come back and buy this, this, and this.
I need a new printer. I need a new this. But the
Yeah.
the women, 60 plus, I think it's a different.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah, I think it's very different.
Well, you know what's ahead. You have to keep a roof over your head. You
Right.
have to keep yourself in a place that's at least safe. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal, but it's got to be some place that, is decent,
You
that you
feel
can interact.
comfortable. You can walk to the neighborhood or something.
Or you can at least get in your car if you still drive. I do, and you can drive to a store. Everything I do is really nearby, and yeah, I've saved a ton of money on gasoline. That's not a problem for me. Sometimes I go out and I drive my car somewhere, see if I've got a couple of errands I can kind of do all together,
Yeah.
so that I don't end up with a car that's, I don't know.
So
Out of,
what you're saying really is that this thing called retirement, again, I hate the word, but not for lack of a better one, can really be a whole new lifestyle, but very exciting. I hear a lot of animation in your voice. You sound very content, and you sound like you're doing new things and thinking of new things and ways to do them.
yeah.
I
I
think it's
I
exciting.
with my class that I teach, I mean, I have been doing that now. At the first place, I was doing that in person. It would have been the 10th year last year, and then it stopped cold in March because of, the
Mhm.
pandemic. And I don't think it's coming back in person anytime soon. And it's a challenge to teach that way. I really, as much as I have taught
Mhm.
in a high school level years and years
Right.
ago, I really, it reminded me of how hard it is to teach. And it's really hard in the sense of, keeping kids engaged and everything. But with the older folks, because they all don't have computers or are set up, or it's more for the staff to do, and they have to, limit interaction because of the COVID, even though everybody's vaccinated. Um, in order to stay safe, they have everybody come together in the dining room where they cannot eat right now. They have to have meals in their rooms.
So
Wow.
technology is, from all of this, technology is a very important tool for every age.
I think it's going to get, I think it
I'm
gets a lot of us through this, certainly. And
I'm learning every day. I'm learning a little more. I'm a moron. I'm a technological moron. Karen knows a lot. You really do,
now
Karen.
we should have you on
Ah,
speed dial. But
Barbara, you know more than you think you know.
yeah,
Oh, but there's so much I want to learn. There's so much about, so because I teach, my writing workshops, and now I have to do it online, and I've got to develop something online. Well, I have to know the technology. I
yeah.
can't hire people
You
at this.
know, it's funny because, again, back to this book, I just love it. 55 Underemployed and Faking Normal, by Elizabeth White. She is
Wow.
her
I
new
think
age. She doesn't even know me.
she
But I
just
have,
made some sales.
she wrote an essay a couple of years ago called "You Know Her," and it describes all the things and the ways women know how to cut corners here and there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whether it's with groceries, whether it's with heat, whether it's with clothing, whether it's going to lunch, whether it's saying, no, I can't go with you. I have another conflict, but the truth is she knows she can't afford it. All of that. Okay. And then there's also a thing in there where, and she said she got so much reaction to that. That's what really got the book going.
That's really, yeah, I'm going to read it. Now,
It's
Susan, okay, now please join agemarch.org because you're doing all this work. And the first virtual Age March in history on March 27th, you'll be getting the link, how to get on and so forth, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and all other channels. Is so important because it reflects everything you're saying at every age.
what
So
what what are people going to do on the event? Tell me what's
on
happening.
the
I know
event,
it's virtual.
it's
Right.
it's virtual, and it's being produced by major Emmy winning award producers.
Okay. Well, what's going to
And it's
happen?
going to be treated like a TV show. It's not Zoom. It's far more advanced. We have a celebrity host, Tracy Melkor from Canada. She's a very famous, beautiful African-American woman, fabulous host. She will be hosting. There's going to be music composed by Donny Osborne. And there's going to be people, she will ask questions very fast. It'll be very fast moving. The camera will zoom into France, Italy, Nigeria, all around the world. We have people 25 to 40, huge percentage, because this is not about old. This is about everybody. living in a world someday that's not divided and segregated and defined by age. That is the message. It's not about looking better or appearance or how to be. It's an integration of people. So what are they going to do? I don't know enough about the production, the technological production, but I do know one thing. It's going to be fast moving, very exciting. We have many celebrities and we also have many people in their 20s.
I have a question.
Yes.
You invited Jane Fonda, and did you see her on the Golden Globes?
Yes, I did, but we don't want celebrities at that stature. It's too obvious. We do have celebrities. We have Melissa Rivers. We have Marissa Winocour, who got the Tony Award for Hairspray, and she's 48, who really finds ageism in the industry. We have many TV celebrities. Yes, Jane Fonda is wonderful, but that's a very kind of isolated. This is for the world, for the people.
See, you know what though? Can I say one thing? You're gonna
Yes.
don't hate me, Barbara.
No, I won't. No, say it.
I think you should invite her anyway. If she says no, she says no. What's the harm?
Well, she's going to get a notice of the age march.
Okay.
She's going to get absolutely a notice.
People can
Yeah.
show up to things now because they don't have to get on a plane or get in a limo and
Right.
drive by there. They can
But
just
we
put it
already
on
have it.
on.
The
I-
producers already have it closed because
I-
there's so many they can do. But she's definitely getting a big shout out on it, as is so many of the stars.
Watch how many people now go for gray hair.
Oh, I wish mine would get gray, Susan. I even bought that cream where you can make, you've seen me do it, Karen, where I put the silver in. But my mother had this color hair too, till she was 80. But I love silver hair. But agemarch.org, and I will be sending you, Susan, the social media, flyer and our website.
Just don't I don't have to do anything on Facebook, do I?
You
No.
don't have to do anything.
I'm not on
Nothing.
Facebook. For the
You
same
don't have to
reason I
do
don't have to
anything.
work on. I know, I sound like an
All you
antique.
have to do is, if you like it, is forward it to a friend.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the first movement in history that we've ever had regarding age. The
Okay.
first one ever.
And
So it's
What day of the
important.
week is this?
It's a Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
Yeah.
Is
I believe-
27th a Sunday?
I'm almost positive it's a Sunday. I'll look it up.
Oh,
Okay.
that's interesting.
She's
And,
the
and
IT person, she's gonna get it faster than you and I could even find what device we had to look it
oh,
up on.
I would have, yeah. No, I have these
sorry.
mental lags.
It's a Saturday.
It's a
Yeah.
Saturday. Uh-oh.
Saturday.
Okay.
1:00 PST, 1:00. You will be getting the link, by the way, because it is FaceTime Live, Instagram Live. It's also on TV. There's a channel on, you'll get all the information.
Good.
Yeah, but
How long is it gonna go?
an hour.
That's good. You know what? I worked with Gypsy Rose Lee's son, Eric Lee Preminger,
Oh, uh-huh.
and his mother. Remember what she did? She was,
Oh, yes.
I mean, stripper then was,
Oh, yeah.
but she never took it all off. And she always said to him, Eric, this was about TV, but think about the source. She said, leave them wanting more and don't give it to them.
That's right. That's right. We love, very fortunate to have these producers. We have Julie Stern produced for OWN and Oprah and has won 5 or 6 Emmys. I mean, they came in because they love the movement.
Mhm.
So it's a dream, and Revitalash is funding and sponsoring it.
Good.
So it has
You
been.
know, I will say this. I think the fact that you've got some younger people involved too is a good idea because
It's about the young carrying the message into the next generation.
because if they don't, all this service is
Yes.
waiting for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All these hurdles are waiting for them. I mean, I think back to in the 70s when I got out of college. In the 70s, we were talking about the Equal Rights Amendment. I
Yeah.
am now in my 70s, and we're still talking about the Equal Rights
And
Amendment.
we're still talking about the age. And, I feel so sorry for some of these women who think they can't go out of the house or go for a job or meet somebody if they don't mutilate themselves. And I'm not against beauty and product. and cosmetic surgery. I am not against it because it's a free choice.
Yeah.
What I'm against is the anti-age message from the media. And this applies for all ages. So I just want to make that clear for listeners. Sometimes they hear the word age march and they think old or how to be. It's not that. It's for to be united with age equality. But for the listeners, our fabulous Susan Sikora today, we want to see more of her, don't we?
Oh,
and hear
absolutely.
more.
You could have
And hear more.
You're darling. You're both darling, and I probably talk too much. I know. You know,
Oh, you have energy and vitality and experience.
read this book.
I want to see more of Susan Sikora is what I want to see and hear more from her. So tell the listeners where they can reach you, Susan.
Well, they can listen to me on the podcast, which is olderandwiser.com, which I am a co-host with Bob Bates, and it's his website, which is pretty good. It's got a lot of other stuff on there too, and he interviews a few other people in various things. But he and I do it every Friday, and then he puts it up. The nice thing about online is that you can watch it when you want to watch it. You can put it on, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, so we do that. We don't do politics. It's fun. We know each other. It's obvious we're comfortable disagreeing or agreeing or jabbing one another, you know, in a jovial way. Yeah, it's fun. He's a great guy to work with. His wife Jill is fabulous. They've got 2 wonderful daughters, and I mean they're just people that if you didn't work with them, you'd wish they were your friends. Luckily for me,
for the listeners who love Susan as we do, who want to hear more of her ideas, views, insights, energy, vitality, ageless, this incredible woman, you will be invited back to the rant for sure.
okay.
And
See, it's called the rant, isn't it?
yes,
It's called the rant.
the rant
Did I
on
do
New
enough
Cleveland
ranting?
Radio.
Did I do enough ranting for you?
Certainly did. You did a wonderful job.
Oh,
I'm usually on some kind of rant about something. It doesn't take me long to get on a soapbox. The truth
well,
is,
you'll come back.
I'll
You'll
come
come back, hopefully.
okay,
You'll be
and
invited.
get rid of those bathtubs, Barbara.
Oh boy, I will, Karen and Susan. And
You know
both
what?
of you-
One time when you and Karen are talking, before you do the show, have her take her
I'll go take a picture for her.
Okay.
take a laptop, show her your
Okay.
bathtub, and show how you can walk in. Because I got news for you: when you pay $5,000 and $6,000 at an assisted living home somewhere, you don't get a bathtub. They're all walk-in showers with bars.
sure.
They're fine. They're huge. They're safe, and they're
I know. Safety in the home, that's a whole nother show.
That is.
But stay safe, both of you.
You too. And we'll
Lots of love.
Thank you so much for having me. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you both, ladies. Karen, good to meet you. Barbara, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Susan.
have a great day, everybody.